Sports Wisconsin is presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards. By Time Warner Cable, the power of you. And brought to you by AT&T, your world delivered. The roof is closed at Miller Park tonight, the Mets and the Brewers. And here is Jerry Manuel's starting lineup, brought to you by Subway. Alex Cora back in the lineup tonight. Fernando Tatis hits second. The league's leading hitter, David Wright, in the 3-hole. Gary Sheffield, Ryan Church, and Nick Evans in the middle of the order, with Fernando Martinez, Omir Santos, and Johan Santana rounding it out. And that lineup will face Mike Burns. Burns making only his second career major league start, coming off a start against the Minnesota Twins. His last time out, he pitched okay. He hung in there. And he's going to get a shot or two to see if he can stick in this rotation for the time being. Alex Cora leads off for the Mets. He did not play yesterday. Was signed as a backup infielder, but with the injuries to so many of the Mets, including Jose Reyes, the everyday shortstop, Cora has been pressed into duty.
That's kind of been the story for the Mets just about everywhere. They've been scrambling offensively, just haven't been able to score a lot of runs. That's been their problem so far. A lot of big boppers out of the lineup. Pitching still very good.
And the Brewers will face the Mets' best here tonight at Johan Santana. Burns comes to the Brewers known as a strike thrower. He'd been starting games in AAA Nashville this year before his promotion, and frankly he was promoted and put into the major league rotation because of how well he pitched in the Pacific Coast League. Little flare and a foul ball that falls. Set the Brewers defense for you behind Mike Burns. Figure to see a lot of balls in play tonight. It's the fast outfield of Braun, Cameron, and Hart. Infield is Bill Hall, J.J. Hardy, Casey McGee, and Prince Fielder. And Jason Kendall, the veteran, catching Mike Burns. Casey McGee started at third last night and gets the call at second base tonight. Ken Maka will ride that hot bat as long as he can, and certainly McGee has earned plenty more shots in that starting lineup. Matter of fact, McGee was teammates with Mike Burns last year in the Cubs organization down in AAA Iowa in Des Moines. Casey very complimentary of Mike Burns, and not just his stuff and his ability, but also his moxie.
His moxie meaning he's not afraid to throw the ball over the plate. Down in Nashville this year, only 13 walks in 77 2/3 innings. You like that. Didn't strike many out, only 48, but he was 7-2 down there.
And he walks Alex Cora. Now for our Piggly Wiggly scouting report tonight, we go to the pitching coach, Bill Castro, on Mike Burns.
Boy, he just got to continue what he was doing in the minor leagues, pounding the strike zone, get ahead of the hitters. That day against the Twins, that he fell behind the count a few times, and he paid for it. So I'm looking for him to stay ahead in the count and stay down.
Yeah, for the most part, that start against the Minnesota Twins are pretty good, and they only had one bad inning. I think the Twins batted around in that inning. I think it was the fourth. But I would have to say 5 2/3, 4 runs for Burns against Minnesota. Not a bad start.
And Bill Castro talking about a ground ball that if Burns makes a play on it, you never know how things turn around. It was kind of a squibber, and Burns looked like he had a chance at a double play. Couldn't make the play. When is an infield hit? And then that's when the Twins did their damage after that with Mauer and Morneau. So all in all, a pretty good effort for Burns, and it certainly earned him another start and another chance in that rotation. Meanwhile, the Mets are trying to figure out where they are headed. This is a ball club that is now under 500, 37-38, and the big question for the New York Mets, do you wait for the stars to come back? So many injured stars, guys like Reyes and Carlos Beltran. Carlos Delgado is hurt. J.J. Putz, the setup man to Francisco Rodriguez. Do you wait for those guys to return and see if you can make a run at it, or do you go make a deal right now?
Man, if you can make a deal, I don't know how many teams are willing to make a deal. I mean, that's been the talk around Milwaukee as well. It's not as easy as just saying, I want to make a trade. I mean, you got to find somebody willing to give up somebody And what do you have in return to give them? I mean, not much down in the minor leagues for the Mets.
Ball and a strike on Fernando Tatis. Two balls and a strike. Tatis in the starting lineup tonight at second base. Saw a little bit of Tatis last night. He had a couple of at-bats as he entered the game at second base. It's another guy who was penciled in to be a role player, just like Alex Cora, but playing pretty much every day right now. Guys like Tatis and Cora and Gary Sheffield, complementary players when Jerry Manuel left spring training, but three guys who are in there on a nightly basis when healthy.
Yeah, when the Mets broke spring training, they had a pretty good bench. A lot of veterans on the bench. That's what you like to see. But right now, not the case. They're all playing every day. Kind of a similar situation to the Brewers bench there for a while. You know, Craig Counsell in there now and Casey McGee. Kind of weaken your bench when you have those guys in the starting lineup.
Counsell not in the starting lineup tonight with the left-hander Santana on the mound. Brewers winning last night 10-6. Braden Looper improving to 6-4. Hoffman saved his 18th of the year, and Trevor now career save number 572. Hoffman threw one pitch and earned the save last night. One pitch and a double play to win the game. Tatis strikes out. Chased a breaking ball from Burns, and the first out of the inning.
And a good slider that time by Burnsy. That's a good pitch for him. Fastball, 88 to 90 miles an hour. Slider and a changeup, and Tatis not even close. That pitch about a foot outside.
David Wright comes in, tied for first in the National League in batting. A .339 average with 4 homers. The home run numbers are down, and a significant story for Wright and the Mets this year. But he has driven in 40. Wright has been a 30-homer, 100 RBI performer the last couple of seasons, and 4 consecutive seasons driving in 100 runs or more.
You know, we talk about the Brewer offense being fairly streaky, and David Wright is one of those as well. He's got a lot of strikeouts, but still that batting average about .340. When he's hot, he is really hot.
Wright tied with Hanley Ramirez. It's a top batting average. That one is hit high in the air, deep right center field. Cameron at the wall. Goodbye. David Wright's first home run since June 9th. And it's a 2-run shot here in the first inning. The Mets have the early lead.
And you can see he's got plenty of power to the opposite field. Burns having a tough time getting ahead in the count here tonight, at least so far. Fastball right down the middle, up in the zone. And David Wright didn't pull it, went right with it to the opposite field and out of here, 2-0.
And an example of a well-hit ball to right that would probably have been caught at Citi Field in New York. A pitcher-friendly ballpark, the new home of the New York Mets. So Wright gives Santana a 2-0 lead early.
And that's the last thing you want to see. You know, our offense down 2-0 at least before they even get a bat in their hands, especially against that guy, Santana.
Ball and a strike on Gary Sheffield. Sheffield homered here last night. Still swings as hard as he can. Sheffield belting home run number 10 last night. Had 3 hits in the game and 3 runs batted in. 10 homers, 30 RBIs, and a .290 batting average. Putting up surprising numbers, playing just about every day.
No, he hit a fastball off of Villanueva in last night's ball game, about 88 miles an hour out away from him, and hit it a ton in the left center. A home run. You can crowd him with a fastball, but you better have something behind it.
Rips it into left, a base hit. And a rough start for Mike Burns tonight.
And it looked like a changeup that he left down the middle of the plate. Changeup or a slider that didn't do too much. And Gary Sheffield, middle speed. I mean, he's right on it. We saw that in last night's ball game. Right down the middle. Mike Burns has to get ahead in the count. I mean, every pitcher does, but particularly a guy that barely hits 90 on the gun and relies on command. Not going to overpower anybody, particularly when he's behind in the count.
Quick trip to the mound for Bill Castro, the Brewers pitching coach. Burns did not lose a game this year until May 23rd while pitching in AAA. Started the season 6-0 for the Nashville Sounds. Then he lost a couple of games in a row and then won on June 14th against Memphis. Pitched well on June 20th and earned a promotion back to the big leagues. Pitched out of the bullpen one time for the Brewers earlier this year. That was back in early June. Burns came up, made one appearance. That was in Miami against the Marlins, and went 4 scoreless innings. Church takes a strike. 1-2 the count on Ryan Church. Church batting .281. A couple of homers, 18 runs batted in. Had 4 hits last night, all singles, and used every part of the ballpark last night.
He's been having problems battling the flu, and you wouldn't have been able to tell last night. He was so good at hitting the ball where it was pitched. Sometimes that's when you have your best nights.
Church also threw out a runner at home plate. He picked up an outfield assist last night when he cut down Braden Looper. 2-2. Breaking ball pulled. McGee knocks it down, and the legend lives. Terrific play from Casey McGee. Sheffield does advance, but instead of first and third and 1 out, now Burns with 2 away in the first inning.
Yeah, Casey not blessed with the greatest range, and it's even a little bit more limited because he's battling a knee problem. Able to get to that one, keeps it in the glove, and an easy out at first base. Well done. Good defense behind Burns. Boy, that ball gets through, you're asking for some trouble.
Sheffield at second with 2 outs. Evans bounces one to Hall. Side retired. 2 runs are in, however. Santana gets a 2-run shot from David Wright. Bill Hall and Mike Burns rounding it out. Johan Santana on the mound for the Mets. Defensively behind him, it is Gary Sheffield, Fernando Martinez, and Ryan Church. David Wright, Alex Cora, Fernando Tatis, and Nick Evans around the horn. And it's Omir Santos catching Santana tonight. So the Mets ace on the mound at Miller Park, and Corey Hart leads off. Santana coming off a win against the St. Louis Cardinals his last time out, but the reports from New York is that he didn't have his best stuff. But like an ace will do, Santana was able to win the ball game and go 7 against the Cardinals and giving up just 1 earned run.
You see the numbers for Santana, outstanding. Tied for first in the league in wins, 9th in ERA, and 5th most strikeouts in the National League.
Corey Hart off the end of the bat. Sheffield has room and 1 away. Well, a scouting report comes to us tonight in an eavesdropping fashion. Mike Cameron wearing the mic talking to Bill Schroeder. Take a listen.
How would you what would you try to take away from Johan today?
You got to sit fastball because he has the velocity to get a body.
Yep.
Yeah. And you got to hope he doesn't throw that slider for a strike.
Yeah.
And then you just battle your butt off.
Oh man, that's crazy you say that, because I say, you know what? This is like the one guy you can't sit on.
Can't sit on that changeup because he throws too hard.
That's great.
And you just hope. I mean, he's got 2 very good pitches. That fastball that'll bust in on a right-hander, and one of the best changeups in the league. And if he has that slider working, look out. I mean, good luck to you.
So you obviously knew Mike Cameron was wearing a microphone. Did you know? I mean, you provided the Piggly Wiggly scouting report.
Right.
He you thought you were managing him, but in actuality, he was managing you at that point.
That's what everybody does to me. I always think I'm in charge, but I really never am. Isn't that true?
It was a great laugh from Mike Cameron, though. It's all good once he starts laughing.
He's the best. I'll tell you, not too many better than Cam.
The former Met.
Yeah.
And keeps everybody loose during batting practice. Hope you had a chance to catch Brewers live pregame today. Had a long look at Mike Cameron during batting practice as Santana strikes out J.J. Hardy.
Is what we're talking about. I mean, he will throw that fastball in on your hands because he anticipates hitters going up there looking changeup. So he's not going to help you out by throwing the fastball too often for a strike away. That helps you out. You don't have to be as quick on a fastball away. So fastball's in. That slider and a Bugs Bunny changeup.
Here's Ryan Braun with 2 away. Braun comes in batting .321 for the season. 16 long balls, 53 driven in. With all of the offense last night, 19 hits for the Brewers and 10 runs across the plate. Ryan Braun was 1 for 5. And Braun rips that one to left field, a base hit.
And another fastball inside. Santana started him with a changeup. Brawny laid off. Got the fastball in. You got to be ready for that pitch. I mean, you have to go up there waiting for that, because if you don't, if you're a little bit indecisive on that, you're not going to be able to get the barrel on it. Santana is one of those guys early in the count that you can look inside.
And if he makes you look bad with a changeup, well, you just get in line with just about everybody else he faces.
No, 2 strikes is a little bit different. I mean, it's a battle once you have 2 strikes against this guy.
So here is Fielder with Braun at first.
But early in the count, I mean, you can sit on a pitch, sit on a fastball. I mean, his reputation is what? The changeup, right? Mm-hmm. Hitters go up there looking for that changeup, not lefties. You know, Prince Fielder's probably not going to see too many changeups. He'll see the slider.
Firestone leaderboard up above. Fielder second in the league behind Pujols in RBIs. 73 driven in. This is game number 77 for Milwaukee. And Santana stays in there against Fielder. 1 ball, 1 strike. Casey McGee hoping for an at-bat here in this first inning. 2 quick outs for Santana. Braun singles, and now Fielder is up there in a 1-1 count. Santana has decisions in all but one of his starts this year. 9 wins, 5 losses. Tonight making his 16th start of the season. Fielder out in front. Santana pulled the string on him, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Santana had a rough outing against the Yankees 3 starts ago, and that outing showing up in his earned run average to start the day. He gave up 9 runs in 3 innings against New York. Fielder takes just off the plate. So a full count here, and that means Braun will get a head start.
Off-speed pitch. He tried to catch the corner with it, and just barely low. Not too much.
Outfielders deep. Braun will start with a pitch. Got a chance to score on a base hit. Get a gapper down the line. And Fielder off the glove of Evans. Caroms over to the wall. Braun all the way to third base. Nick Evans had to go right off of his glove. He jumped a little too early.
No, just barely fair. All right, Brewers with a break right there. The fastball out away from Prince. Evans gets a piece of it. He slipped. That's what the problem was. Went off the end of his glove, and Ryan Braun able to get to third base.
Mets have been searching for a first baseman since Delgado went on the DL. Daniel Murphy and Nick Evans sharing time over there. So a break for the Brew Crew. And here comes Casey McGee with 2 on. Runners at the corners. McGee doubled off Santana the first time he faced him last year as a member of the Cubs. That was at Shea Stadium. And McGee out in front of that one. Pops it up. And the changeup gets him an out. So the Brewers strand a pair. We head to the second. 2-0 Mets. Tonight, 39,000 on hand last night, just shy of 40,000 actually. 39,872. Mike Burns trailing 2-0, facing Johan Santana, a matchup of 30-year-old pitchers who both started their professional careers in the Astros organization. And that's about where the comparisons stop right there.
You can find a connection with anybody, can't you, pal? Nice work. Nice work.
6 degrees of Mike Burns. Martinez rolls to McGee, out number 1.
Hey, fans, elect your favorite Brewers to the All-Star team this year. Vote early, vote often, and vote Brewers now through July 2nd. You don't have too much time. That's Thursday. So get out and vote at Brewers.com.
Ryan Braun, the second most votes among outfielders. You see Carlos Beltran for the Mets. He is behind Braun, about 600,000 votes. Beltran is on the disabled list, not expected back until after the All-Star break. So keep voting, keep at it until July 2nd, Thursday. You know, Braun looking like he's going to be an All-Star starter as Santos skies one out to Cameron for out number 2. You got to think Fielder's on his way to the All-Star game.
Yeah.
And perhaps Giovanni Gallardo if he wins a couple of games before the All-Star break. I mean, he's certainly got a chance. He's in position at 8 wins and an earned run average under 3.
Well, he's up amongst league leaders in a lot of those categories that are important. Wins and ERA, things like that, opponent batting average. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be on the team. He's one of the best starters in the league.
Unfortunately, fans cannot vote for pitchers. The managers will make those selections. Joe Madden for the Rays, and the National League manager is Charlie Manuel from the Phillies. Santana out to McGee, and a nice quick inning for Mike Burns. Good comeback inning after a 2-run first.
Trail the Mets by a couple of runs here in the bottom of the second inning as Mike Cameron, Jason Kendall, and Billy Hall will get some swings against Johan Santana, who has uncharacteristically been struggling in the month of June. Over his last 5 starts, he's posted a 2-3 record. He's given up 20 earned runs on 34 hits, and control has been the issue for Santana. And B.A. and Rock in his last start against St. Louis, his first 11 batters, he fell behind 3-0 in 4 of them. So we'll see if the Brewers can be patient at the plate and get to him as often and early as possible.
Yeah, and Telly, that's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because you want to be patient against Santana, but on the other end, you want to be aggressive as well, because if he gets you down in the count, he is going to win more often than not.
Well, he'd be aggressive in the count only on the fastball. I mean, if he throws you the changeup and the slider, you got to take it. You have to go up there, look fastball. Hopefully he doesn't get the other stuff over for a strike early in the count, which is exactly what he's doing to Cam here.
He's throwing a lot of changeups here early. Brewers had 2 on with 2 outs in the first inning. Santana threw McGee a first pitch changeup, and Casey popped it up. Ball and 2 strikes to Cameron. And the fastball gets by him. 1-2.
Here, look, you talk about that month of June that Santana has had. You know, it's one of those statistics that when you look at it, wow, he's been bad. But when you consider he had one start against the Yankees, 3 innings and 9 earned runs. I mean, that'll tear up anybody's earned run average. I mean, you take that out of the mix, which you can't. I mean, it's one of those days for Santana. He still has an ERA just a little bit over 3. That's how good he was before that.
Had 2 rough starts in a row. Despite beating the Phillies, he gave up 5 runs in 7 innings against Philadelphia. And then the next start was against the Yankees and gave up the 9 spot. Cameron rolls over 1. Alex Cora takes care of him for out number 1. Well, since Santana moved into the rotation full time, 2004, when he started the year in the starting rotation for the Twins, he has been the best in baseball. 95 wins since that point. He's racked up a lot of innings and a spectacular earned run average of 2.84.
Yeah, one of those guys that when you have him on your starting rotation, everybody, you know, on the bench, I mean, all the position players, everything has stepped up a notch because you know you don't have to score a lot of runs to win a ball game ordinarily with Santana on the mound. I mean, he beat the Brewers 1-0. He beat Gallardo in New York.
Santana going 7 innings against the Brewers back on the 18th of April at Citi Field. Santana with 95 wins since 04. Oswalt with 90. And some premier pitching on this list. The thing about Santana, he was a long reliever basically. He was in the bullpen with the Twins in 2003. They moved him into the starting rotation. Had that great second half in 04 when he was a full-time member of the rotation when he went 13-0. And that was his lone 20-win season, bursting onto the scene with a 20-6 record, and that was the first of 2 Cy Young awards for Santana back in 04. His other one came in 06.
I mean, he's kind of one of those pitchers that a left-handed pitcher that works on the third base side of the rubber, and it gives him a better angle to throw that changeup to right-handed hitters. Most left-handers, like a Mitch Stetter, are going to work on the far first base side of the rubber to get a better angle against lefties. But Santana knows that when he's out there, he's not going to face too many left-handed batters. Only 1 in the lineup today. Not too many lefties get a start against this guy.
Kendall lays off, a couple of tough pitches, and he's worked at full 3-2. Kendall at 233 for the year, driven in 21, 3 hits last night and a walk. He was on base 4 times in his 5 plate appearances. And Kendall draws a walk. Nicely done. 1-out walk for the Brew Crew. A reminder that Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs is hatched in theaters tomorrow. The coolest comedy of the summer. Roof is closed. Got some thunderstorm activity around Miller Park. Not raining outside right now, but they closed the roof up about 4 o'clock today. Panels are open. So what's that mean, Rock? Roof closed, panels open.
Yeah, according to Prince Fielder, the ball travels the best right now.
Right. Well, we saw it with David Wright's home run. Wright hit a towering fly ball to right center, and it left the ballpark. 2-run home run, and the Mets had the early lead.
Yeah, this is the way the ball game started yesterday. Roof closed, panels open. It was about the 3rd, 4th inning. They closed everything up.
Billy Hall. Oh, what a play by Evans to second for 1. Cora's return not in time. An athletic play by Santana to keep that one out of the dugout.
And Billy Hall, tough break. Well, what a nice approach by Hall, taking that to the opposite field. Well, that's the same guy that knocked that ball off his glove with Prince Fielder at the plate. Look at this play. Nicely done. Able to grab it and get the force out at second base. Robbing Billy Hall of a base hit. And maybe the Brewers would have been at 1st and 3rd and only 1 out.
Two outs in the inning. And here is Mike Burns. Burns was 0 for 3 at the plate. in a big league run. A couple of at-bats in his last start against the Twins. 30-year-old Mike Burns, drafted by the Astros, came up in the Houston organization from Diamond Bar, California. Made it to the big leagues for the first time in '05 and has since been bounced around a little bit. Little roller out to right. And the side retired. 2 scoreless innings for Santana. To the third we go at Miller Park. Blames Farm and Fleet. You'll always find value at your local Farm and Fleet. By Piggly Wiggly. Shop the pig and save. And by Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin. And tonight, our Carsoup.com email the booth question comes to us from Luxembourg, Wisconsin. Ali Ploss. What's the latest update on Dave Bush and his timetable for a return? Had a chance to visit with Dave Bush yesterday, and he's throwing the baseball. He's not throwing off the mound yet, but he's continuing to throw, and they're just being very patient with it. Basically, because of the elbow injury that he has, it's above the bone on the elbow, and he was hit by a line drive. And they want to make sure that when he throws, he's able to bounce back. So it's a whole sequence of throwing and then recovery, and then you see how fast the elbow can bounce back. But Dave's pleased with his rehabilitation.
The micro tear of the muscle in the tricep, and he never stopped throwing. That was the amazing thing. And talking to some of the folks around here and saying that he never really stopped. This soft tossing, that what they don't want to have him do is get on the mound and start throwing curveballs and cutters, things like that. So not going to be very long, I don't think, for Bushy. Sometime after the All-Star break, I would imagine.
And as athletic trainer Dan Wright was telling us, it's kind of like, the flesh or the muscle up against the bone. The line drive hit that, and it pressed the muscle out. It tenderized the meat, if you will. So that needs to get back together and heal and get strong again, and that's why the series of testing and recovery continues for Dave Bush. But Dave seemed encouraged yesterday by the way he's throwing the baseball, and I would imagine if the Brewers, they keep it going a little bit here. You give him till after the All-Star break, and then we might see Dave Bush back in the starting rotation.
Well, you don't want to rush him back. I mean, the last thing you want to do is rush him back, and then all of a sudden he injures himself, and then you miss him for another month.
Alex Cora down the left field line. Braun had him played perfectly. And Cora is out. Dave Bush has continued to throw. As Rock mentioned, just fastballs, though, all flat ground.
They'd much rather have him miss, an extra week on this end. And we talk about this with every injury that occurs. You give him an extra week or maybe an extra few days as opposed to rushing him back, and then you miss him for another extended period of time. And you just don't want to rush a guy back. And you know Dave Bush is going to want to rush back, so you have to sometimes protect the player from himself.
Fernando Tatis batting with one away. There's a good curveball from Burns. A slow mover. A gravity ball in there for a strike. That was a 68-mile-an-hour pitch. Tatis struck out in the first inning. He chased a breaking ball from Burns. That pitch right there. This time he lays off.
That's a good pitch. Just got to throw it for a strike. Hitters are not going to chase that when they're up in the count 2-1, 2-0, 3-1.
Fastball. Hardy backhands it. Long throw. And he got him.
Wow.
J.J. Hardy.
Boy, flashing the leather, J.J. Hardy. My goodness, what a throw. That's what makes this play. Not many shortstops have the arm to make this play. Look at this. All the way on the fly, and a strike to Prince Fielder, a Home Depot doing more on defense. It doesn't get any better than that. What a play by J.J. Wow.
Strong arm from deep in the hole at shortstop. 2 outs in the inning. What a talent he is.
Yes.
Right into the opposite field again, this time playable for Hart. And another 3-up, 3-down inning for Mike Burns, who has retired 8 straight.
Game on your computer with MLB.tv. It's the ultimate baseball experience, featuring 100 out-of-market games every week live on your computer, and you can catch those you've missed on demand. For details, go to Brewers.com.
That was a great glove man, Don Money. Now the Brewers AAA manager in Nashville. Corey Hart lines one back up the middle. First pitch from Santana of the third inning. And Hart has a base hit.
No, back-to-back at-bats for Corey Hart when Santana's tried to bust him inside. This time, Corey waiting for it. Supposed to be away, left it down the middle of the plate, and Corey Hart, these Brewers, I mean, the plan here is don't let a fastball go by. If he throws one early in the count, first pitch, give it a whack. I mean, the deeper you get into the count against this guy, the tougher it is.
Santana back in the stretch. Brewers have had base runners in every inning against Santana tonight as Hardy looks at a ball outside. JJ red hot. Taco Bell, who's hot. 4 hits last night. He was a triple away from the cycle. Hardy homered, 2 singles, or check that, 2 doubles and a single. He also walked last night. A perfect night at the plate. And there's a base hit to left. Back-to-back hits from the top of the order, and usually that spells trouble for the opposition.
Yeah, get men on base in front of Ryan and Prince. That was a changeup that J.J. able to wait back nicely. It was down, it was away from, but J.J. able to wait back and sneak it in the hole into left field.
Hardy's so fun to watch when he's right at the plate with low pitches. He almost drops his entire body down. He uses his knees to get low with it. And we saw him tomahawk a pitch yesterday out of the ballpark about neck high. Takes one off the shoe tops here and delivers a hit that gives the Brewers 2 on with Ryan Braun coming up. Braun had a ringing single against Santana in the first. Pulled it to left. Braun with a 7-game hit streak now after a single in the first inning. 7th in the league in RBIs coming into play today with 53. Braun and Fielder still make up the best run producing tandem in all of baseball. Fielder and Braun driving in 126 runs.
So if Ryan doesn't do it, Prince drives him in. It's kind of a nice little 1-2 punch.
Line drive, base hit. Corey Hart got a good jump, and he's around third. He will score. The throw comes into third base. Ryan Braun delivers the first run for the Brewers.
Now back-to-back fastballs. This one up in the zone, out over the plate. So Ryan Braun 2 for 2. Ryan's seen nothing but fastballs so far tonight. Talking about the bat path to Eddie Cedar. Up in the zone by Santana. Bangs it right back through the middle. Almost a carbon copy of Corey Hart's base hit.
Excellent base running by Corey Hart as well. Yesterday the Brewers on 2 occasions had a runner held up at third base, and it's all because of the jump you get. Now Hart knows where the infielders are positioned. Never stopped.
Well, plus the outfield very deep, particularly Martinez in center, and no way to throw out Corey Hart.
Fielder at the plate. Prince singled his last time up, an infield hit. Now batting .370 on the homestand. And his average continues to rise. Fielder now batting, after that single in the first inning, .306 for the season. 2 on, nobody out. Telly Hughes commented about Santana's command in his last few starts. Unusual to see Santana walk 3 batters in a game. He's done it in his last 2 starts, however. And his strikeout numbers have been down in the month of June. There's a strike on the corner. Just dropped a little changeup right in there.
He had 10 walks and 14 strikeouts in 5 starts in June so far. That's certainly not what Johan Santana usually gives you.
Fielder just missed one. High pop up. Church has a strong arm. Hardy won't challenge him. And the first out of the inning. Check the Powerball home run leaderboard with Casey McGee coming up. Prince Fielder still leads the way, 19 home runs for the season. Ryan Braun with 16. Cameron sitting on 12. Ricky Weeks still on that list. That just goes to show you how good of a season Ricky Weeks was putting together in just 1 month. Tough loss for the Brewers.
Yep, and it has been very difficult for Ken Maka to replace him in that lineup. A lot of different leadoff hitters. Guys moving around into second base.
Here is McGee with one away. Got a changeup in there for a strike. The 26-year-old Casey McGee. He'll be 27 in October. He's been fighting for playing time for a long time. Long road through the minor leagues to finally get his chance with the Cubs last year. Then they took him off the roster. The Brewers snatched him up. And lo and behold, Casey McGee is among league leaders in the National League rookie categories in a number of categories, including leading National League rookies in batting to start the day.
Yeah, very close to leading in home runs. He's up there in RBIs. And he's done that really without having too many at-bats in the first 6 weeks of the season.
That wide open stance. And Santana strikes him out.
And 3 consecutive changeups.
See the rookie ranks in the National League. Casey McGee first in average and slugging percentage, second in on-base percentage, and the home runs have really come on fast. 5 long balls, and all 5 of those coming in his last 17 games. Remember what Dale Swaim said about him back in April. If this guy gets 600 plate appearances, he's liable to hit 20+ home runs. 2 outs for Santana, still 2 on, and here's Cameron. Fastball strike. A runner's in, 3 consecutive singles to start the inning, but Santana has retired fielder in McGee and a chance to get out of it.
They talk about that leaderboard with respect to rookies. 2 rookies in this game today that are up amongst league leaders for rookies. Amir Santos is up in a lot of these categories. Colby Rasmus with the St. Louis Cardinals leading in most of those rookie categories in the National League.
There's the Mets rookie catcher. It's got to be fun duty to catch Santana on a regular basis, like Santos has been offered the chance to do. You could put any number of fingers down and get strikes with him and get quality pitches.
It's like a day off. This guy puts the ball pretty much where he wants to. Hits the glove most of the time.
2-1 to Cameron with 2 aboard. Fastball got in there. 2-2. Cameron tried to saw that swing off to put the barrel on it, but that's what you're talking about with Santana's fastball.
Yeah, he's not afraid to throw it inside in any count. That's a 2-1 count, hitter's count. Most pitchers aren't going to do that. Most pitchers are going to try and get you out of the way on a count like that.
Now Cameron needs a mistake with 2 strikes. Three and 2.
Boy, that didn't miss by much. Goodness. Where'd that miss?
I think even Mike Cameron was waiting for the call from Jim Wolf.
Yeah.
Well, the runners will get a head start here. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. A base hit will tie it. 2-1 Mets, bottom of the 3rd inning. A runner's in for the Brew Crew. Cameron off the end of the bat, just got a piece. The discrepancy between his changeup and his fastball is what makes him so tough, and the location of those 2 pitches, obviously. But
yeah, between 8 and 10 miles an hour, that's about perfect. He's not throwing all that hard tonight. I mean, I think he's topped out at about 91. That's been it. Most of his fastballs around 89 and 90. But he's starting to feel that changeup. He didn't have it his first couple innings. It is much better here in the 3rd inning.
So we'll do it again at 3-2. It's a big opportunity for the Brewers. They don't come often against Santana. But the Crew with 5 hits thus far. Hardy and Braun take off. Cameron takes ball 4. Bases loaded. And Santana staring in at Jim Wolf, the home plate umpire.
That little sheepish grin on his face. That looked like a pretty good pitch. Man. Tough pitch to take. A little bit off the inside corner.
Boy. Bases loaded, and here's Kendall. Kendall walked in the second inning. One of 2 walks tonight from Santana. Kendall takes a rip at it. Kendall against Santana in his career has just 2 hits in 23 at-bats. Does have a couple of walks. This be a good time for the Bill Schroeder law of averages to catch up. Kendall pops it up. Alex Cora will make the call, and that's the inning. So Santana strands the bases loaded. The Brewers get a run. Still trail 2-1.
A 2-1 lead, courtesy of David Wright, a 2-run home run in the first inning. Johan Santana, who comes into tonight's game 5th in the National League in strikeouts, able to get J.J. Hardy. Also got Casey McGee and an RBI single by Ryan Braun in the 3rd, and that's how we got here at 2-1.
Well, the Brewers are getting some base runners tonight, but stranding base runners against Santana. They have left 6 men aboard through the first 3 innings. Mets have 2 runs on 2 hits. The Brewers a run on 5 hits. Top of the 4th, Gary Sheffield leads off. He singled his last time up against Mike Burns. Burns has retired 8 straight since Sheffield's single. And a good pitch on the outside corner. Sheffield has not avoided injury this year either for the Mets, but he continues to play after a cortisone shot to the back of the knee. Sheffield's injury very similar to what Craig Counsell experienced. Behind the knee, the lower portion of the hamstring. It's also the same injury that has Jose Reyes on the disabled list. Reyes hasn't played since the 20th of May.
And it affects a guy like Reyes more than the other two, Counsell and Sheffield, because he relies on his speed. And an injury like that really prevents you from getting those long strides when you're trying to run. And when your game is dependent upon speed, it becomes a big issue.
And to our surprise yesterday, Gary Sheffield legged out an infield hit last night and got down the line exceptionally well.
He was sniffing a base, hitting an RBI. It's amazing how those injuries don't bother you too much when you sniff at a hit. Routine two hopper to shortstop, it bothers you.
There's no better combination than a little want to and a little cortisone.
Talked to Craig Counsell around the batting cage. He says his knee's just fine. He says it's not an issue for him. Look,
Sheffield flies out.
That's what he says about everything.
I know it. You know, pointless.
He could have a bone sticking out of his legs. I had no problem. Not bothering me at all.
Half-Flag Trivia tonight, the only 5 pitchers to win 2 Cy Young Awards by a unanimous vote. Santana was one of them. We'll give you that one. Santana won it in 04 and then again in 06. He could have won it last year in his first year with the Mets if the Mets bullpen had done their job a little better. I think Santana probably could have won and realistically could have won 20 games last year.
Yeah, that Mets bullpen was a disaster last year. It's been that way for a couple of years. Much better this year. Francisco Rodriguez closing games, and they got some power arms down in that bullpen. You don't need much of a bullpen with that guy on the mound, though.
Well hit ball to right. Hart not able to cut it off. That one shoots to the wall. And Ryan Church is in there with a double. 1-out double for the Mets. Church with his 5th hit in the series already.
And this guy's a world beater against the Brewers. I mean, this guy's only hitting what, 280? 270 something right now, but you know, even in New York, that series that the Brewers had with the Mets in New York, Church was swinging the bat very well. 3 hits last night and a bullet to right field tonight.
Church spent a couple of weeks on the disabled list back in May. Just put it this way, the fans of New York are getting a very good medical lesson this year. They're learning about injuries all over the human body.
The athletic trainer is very busy. There's a waiting list, or there's a line in that training room. But of course, the Mets fans are patient. They understand.
Oh, yes. Very patient. Oh, 0-2 to Nick Evans with a runner at second base. Evans grounded out his last time up. Rolled over to Bill Hall at third base. He has 4 hits in his last 4 games, and that includes 4 runs batted in. Made an appearance yesterday as a pinch hitter. And he was 0 for 1. Evans has been bounced around between AAA Buffalo and New York this year. He's also spent some time in AA in Binghamton in the Eastern League.
Oh, what a difference in the lineup, not having to face Carlos Delgado. I mean, taking nothing away from Nick Evans, but certainly you lose a lot. Tough to have a consistent offense when you lose your leadoff hitter and your 3 and 4 hitters in the lineup. Imagine the Brewers offense without Ryan and Prince. It's kind of what the Mets are going through.
in a season that has been headlined by injuries, pretty much with every club, the Mets lead the pack.
And remember, Billy Wagner's still in their roster.
Two balls, two strikes on Evans. And he fouls another one away. He's hanging in there tough. Burns, a 7-game winner in the minor leagues this year. 2.55 earned run average. That one's well hit to left, but Braun right there for it. Lost it for a minute in the lights. And just able to find it at the last moment. Well, in People's All-Stars Among Us campaign, 3 finalists from each MLB team were nominated. And today we congratulate Loyal Maynard as the Brewers winner. He's involved in fundraising for Habitat for Humanity. The Milwaukee native will be honored during ceremonies before the All-Star game on July 14th. That game seen only on Fox. Loyal Maynard, Prince Fielder, with Bob Uecker's sunglasses on. All he needs is a hard hat. But they did put a logo on the hard hats.
Yeah.
Even making it more controversial because they've never been seen together.
That's right.
And both of them should be in St. Louis on July 14th. 2 outs for Burns. And it's Fernando Martinez. This is a guy to watch right here. This is some kind of young talent the Mets have coming up from their minor league system. He's only 20 years of age. And the one fear the Mets have putting him on the big stage in New York is the confidence issue.
The guy should probably be in Double-A. He's still learning his craft.
Pops it up. Fielder makes the call, and he's got it. Case McGee said, I could have had that one.
With the help of scholarships donated by several Brewers players, Brewers charities, and the Selig Scholars Program. The class of 2009 is an impressive one. 4 are valedictorians, 4 have perfect GPAs, and the group has a combined GPA of 3.8. Since 2003, 49 students have received a total of $545,000 in assistance, guys.
All right, Telly, thanks a lot. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Brewers coming up against Johan Santana. 2-1, Mets lead it. David Wright with a 2-run home run in the 1st inning. And it has held up. The Brewers have had a lot of base runners against Santana tonight. 3 consecutive hits to start the 3rd inning led to just 1 run. Santana stranded, the bases loaded. Bill Hall was robbed of a hit his last time up. It was a nice diving stop by Nick Evans over at first base. Hall came in last night on a double switch, and got 2 at-bats last night, delivered both times. Billy with 2 hits and 2 RBIs, had a double and a single last night.
Yeah, Billy putting a lot of time in with Dale Swaim. No batting cages right now here at Miller Park because of the water situation down on the service level. Anticipating after the All-Star break that they should have those batting cages, make it a little bit more difficult for the guys to get ready for the ball game, but it's the same for both clubs. Billy robbed of a base hit his first time up.
Down 0-2. And he fights one off. Now the trade front starting to heat up a little bit. Trade deadline is the end of July, but already some moves being made. Of course, the Cardinals acquiring DeRosa last week. The Pirates made 2 separate moves in the last 24 hours. One with the Nationals, the other with the Yankees. Pirates traded Eric Hinsky to New York.
A little bit more power from the left side for that Yankee ball club. Niger Morgan with the Pirates was traded as well
to the Washington Nationals.
And Sean Burnett, left-hander.
Hall down the line, foul. You can tell the Pirates trying to put something together. They look at the Brewers as their model, and they're trying to put together the core of young players that they can count on. And then there's the financial situation. They're trying to get to the end of contracts. They did pick up Lastings Millage and Joel Hanrahan in that deal with the Nationals. Santana strikes out Hall on a changeup. And our Aflac trivia question tonight: who are the only 5 pitchers to win 2 Cy Young Awards by a unanimous vote? Santana is one of them. Pedro Martinez, Roger Clemens, Greg Maddux, and Sandy Koufax, and all of them headed to the Hall of Fame who aren't there already, with the exception of the Ascaris and Roger Clemens, perhaps.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame numbers, but you talk to most Hall of Fame voters, and they will not be punching Clemens' card when year 5 comes up.
Just ask Mark McGuire how tough it is. Boy. Can't believe Bob Gibson wasn't a unanimous selection for the Cy Young Award. I would have thought that he would have been on that list. 1968.
Yeah, what more does the guy have to do?
Yeah.
Hey, Mike Burns has worked to count 3-0. Walked him. How about that?
Yeah. I tell you, that inside corner is a tough one for Santana tonight. I'll tell you, Jim Wolf, home plate umpire, is not giving him an inch off that corner.
Well, Santana is year-by-year numbers, and we talked about how much winning he's done since 04. 16-7 last year. I think the Mets blew 7 games where he left with the lead. 20-6 back in 04 in his first full season as a starter. Change up to Hart. Santana now with 3 walks in this game. And the Brewers continue to force Santana into the stretch in every inning. They've had a base runner in all 4 innings tonight.
And it's been that way in the first 2 games of this series. The Brewers were not put out in order once last night. They had multiple hits in every inning except for 1. And in that inning, they had a walk and a hit batter.
See the Giants leading the Cardinals 4-1. Randy Johnson against Chris Carpenter in that game. Carpenter lost to Santana in New York last time out. Hart leans out for one. Long run for Martinez, and he slips and he falls. The ball drops. Burns on his way to third base.
Oh boy. How about Johan Santana's luck? What is going on out there? Well, first the first baseman slips, not able to get a one-hopper to him. Martinez on as much of a routine fly ball as you can possibly see in the big leagues. For some reason, just flat falls down and doesn't even get a glove on it. And only because the pitcher's running, the run doesn't score. So second and third and one out.
Well, you can see the divot he pulled up in left center field. His feet just went right out from under him.
Must have caught a cleat. I have no idea what happened. That's inexcusable. I mean, who knows what happened there?
That's a Bill Schroeder special on the 18th fairway right there. That's like a sirloin steak.
Bury a squirrel in that.
Well, it works in the Brewers' favor here. Hart gets credit for a double. Second and third with one out. The Brewers needing to cash in here against Santana.
They're amazing. It's kind of what's been going on with the Mets this year.
Hardy singled off Santana back in the third, last inning. And that one's in the dirt. Good block of it by Santos. 2 balls and no strikes. This game feels a lot like Santana's game against the Cardinals. St. Louis had him on the ropes early a lot, but didn't cash in. The Brewers trying to do just the opposite. And Hardy takes a ball. 3-0 the count. There is a base open at first, but Ryan Braun is on deck.
And that was a 2-ball no-strike changeup by Santana.
Second and third, one away. Lost him. 4 straight pitches. Both of his walks in this inning have come on 4 consecutive pitches.
But being very careful to J.J. Hardy to bring Ryan Braun to the plate. Ryan 2 for 2. Both of his base hits coming on fastballs.
Dan Warthen, the Mets pitching coach, giving Santana a breather. Martinez lost his footing in center field. Should have been a routine out for out number 2. Instead, he slipped and fell, and the ball dropped in. And the Brewers are right where they want to be in their order right now, with Braun and Fielder, and the bases loaded.
Well, first 2 at bats for Ryan Braun. Santana has busted him inside with fastball. Let's see if he does it again or goes with a changeup.
Oh, Dan Warthen has just been thrown out. The Mets pitching coach just got tossed by Jim Wolf. Warthen followed him back to the home plate area.
Well, we've been talking up here about how tight that inside corner is for Johan Santana. Apparently the Mets pitching coach didn't like the strike zone and he got thumbed. He's gone.
Jim Wolf, the brother of a major league pitcher, Randy Wolf, sending the pitching coach to the showers.
Well, it looked like Jim Wolf gave him a little bit of a leash. He allowed him to say his piece, but I think that little bit of a nudge with the elbow got Wolf's attention and he threw him out. Is that a bump?
More of a nudge.
Is that worse than a beak? Cameron got a day for a beak.
That's right. All right, well, it's game on now. Bases loaded. The Brewers, for the second consecutive inning, have them loaded, this time with just one out. And Braun bounces one foul.
Started with a changeup.
Burns walked on 4 straight pitches. Hart had the gift double when Martinez slipped and fell, and Hardy walked on 4 straight. Santana has allowed 4 walks in this game. And as much as Santana is on the ropes here, there is plenty of pressure to cash in against Santana in this spot. Little bouncer, foul. I think every Brewer hitter knows that as Santana continues in this game, if you don't get him when you have a chance, he becomes ungettable.
Yeah, back-to-back innings where they've had the bases loaded. He gets very tough in these situations. I think one of the reasons is because he has good command of that changeup. Hitters get real anxious with men on base.
Now Braun down on the count, 0-2. He has 2 of the Brewers' 6 hits tonight. Drove in a run in the 3rd inning. 2-1 Mets. Bases loaded, 1 away. And Braun lines one left field. Sheffield will not get there. Burns will score. Here comes Hart. Right behind him, J.J. Hardy. The throw. And it's off the mark. Hardy scores. 3 runs are in. Braun now back to third. That ball gets away. Ryan Braun will score.
Boy, what a comedy of errors for the Mets. My goodness.
5-2 Milwaukee. 4 runs in with 1 swing of the bat. And likely a couple of errors.
Well, Santana didn't help himself, though. He had Brawny 0-2. He threw another changeup. This time, Brawny able to wait back and knock it over Sheffield's head. I was kind of surprised that they sent J.J. on that. A good throw gets him. I think it's only going to be 1 error.
A double, 3 RBIs, and an error on Santana, a Gold Glove pitcher. 5-2 Milwaukee. Boy, what a gift inning for the Brewers here against the New York Mets.
And just dreadful defense by the Mets. It just, you can't really describe it any differently.
Fielder, a big cut.
Got to be frustrating for Santana.
Well, the error aside, tip your hat to Ryan Braun, who whistles a 2-strike pitch over the head of Sheffield and left and drives in 3.
And just didn't want to throw him the fastball. Ryan was all over the fastball his first 2 times up. Back-to-back changeups. Ryan Braun able to wait back enough on the last one. Missed his spot with it. Boy, Ryan with that big long bat, he just drops the head on it. Burton's able to score, who walked on 4 pitches. Corey Hart comes in on a misplayed fly ball to center. And J.J. Hardy comes across, who walked on 4 pitches. So really only 1 hit in the inning.
Braun had rounded third base so aggressively when the ball got away from Santos. Santana had a shot at him at third base.
The reason there's only 1 error is because Ryan was on his way to third base before that ball got away.
Tatis takes care of Fielder, and only the 2nd out of the inning. Santana won a Gold Glove in 07. This was the tail end of the play as the ball gets away from Santos. And then Santana uncorked a high fastball.
2nd time we've seen a throw to third base in this series go all the way to the wall. Remember the Twins series?
That's right. That was in the 8th inning of that game when Kendall came all the way around to score. Led to the only Brewers win in that Minnesota series.
Well, you think you've seen everything in this game? Let's stick around.
You certainly don't expect a Gold Glover like Santana to make a throw like that.
I was thinking more of the fly ball to center field.
Oh, that one too. Casey McGee lines one to Cora, and the inning is over, but Milwaukee scoring 4 runs. Braun driving in 3 with a double. 5. You're a stickler for defense. Now, put some words that can explain what we just saw here.
Well, Billy Schroeder, I think he bought a sniper gun tonight. Helped us out. I don't know. It's one of those crazy innings where, again, you can take anything for granted. Obviously, the kid must have caught one of Billy's divots that he plays golf with usually, and all hell broke loose. Bonnie had a great at bat, and a little bit overly aggressive around third, but Santana helped us out in corking one, so we'll take him, man. I mean, it's a tough pitch. We let him off the hook the first time around, so it's nice to take advantage of the second time.
Well, it's got to be interesting for you down in that dugout watching your old ball club, the Mets, and obviously you got to love to see the Brewers take it to them a little bit, don't you?
No doubt about it. I mean, we got to win games. Just a huge homestand for us. We started out a little bit sluggish, but I think we're starting to play a little bit better. And these are all big series for us, and I must admit it's a little bit sweeter to take it out in the Mets right now.
This is a pretty streaky offense, this Brewer club. They seem to be putting it together.
Yes. I think this is the right time, too, guys. We've been really sluggish all year long. They're very inconsistent. But you know what? Coming up after this series, we've got the Cubs, and it's a good time to get hot.
All right, Willie, we appreciate your insights today.
All right, guys, thanks.
That's Willie Randolph, Brewers bench coach. Always enjoy catching up with a member of the coaching staff during a game. And that's a good question, Rock, and you're right. Willie Randolph certainly mixed emotions watching this unfold as he captained that ship in New York for 4+ years, and his bench coach taking over last season. He's glad to be in the spot he's in. Willie, when you talk to Willie, and he played for the Brewers, so he knows this town, but he truly loves Milwaukee, and he is so adamant about expressing his love for this city and what has happened here at Miller Park. He played at County Stadium, and he's seen the transition of Miller Park with his time in New York, and now as the Brewer bench coach. And it's just a great perspective from a guy who has spent most of his life in the big city of New York.
And you really respect his opinion about, you ask him things about defense and the team in general. I mean, what guy in baseball in the history of the game has won more than Willie Randolph? I mean, 10 World Series. I mean, come on. I think he knows a little bit about what it takes to win.
Randolph said more than anything else he's enjoying the coaching part of it. He's enjoying throwing batting practice as Burns strikes out Santana. Kendall secures it at first. You know, that's something a big league manager doesn't get to do very often because of the media obligations. You don't get a chance to throw batting practice very often, or hit fungos, or instruct. But Willie's enjoying that part of it again.
Man, Willie throws a nice ball in BP.
A nice ball.
They like it.
So Burns with 2 outs, and important here for Mike Burns to put up a 0 after the Brewers score 4 runs against Santana in the 4th. Well, with all of the misplays for the Mets in the 4th inning, you still go back to how impressive Ryan Braun is with 2 strikes. That was an 0-2 pitch he hit deep into left field.
And the only mistake that Santana made on it was the fact that it was in, giving Ryan a little bit more time to, he could be out in front on a pitch in. And if you put that pitch away, leave it down and away, I think Ryan has a little bit different result there. But not too many guys are going to throw 3 consecutive changeups in that situation.
Well, with head down, Alex Cora barking a little at Jim Wolf. And a little slicer into left center. Mike Cameron runs it down for the out. 1-2-3 inning for Mike Burns. Casey McGee leads off when we come back. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. A bit of a Little League special in the 4th inning for the Brewers. Santana committing the error, and 4-run score. Braun with a 3 RBI double. 5-2 Milwaukee. Mike Cameron against Johan Santana to start it. Then Kendall and then Hall. Santana's pitch count is nearing 90 right now. This is pitch number 87. Cameron rolls over to third. Big hop. Wright flings one to first in time for the out. That was a great play by David Wright.
Boy, how about the reactions by David Wright? We've been talking about the shoddy defense by the Mets. Not this time. Watch this hop. Right up on him. Not sure what it hit, but David Wright able to make the play. Well, tonight's timer of the game winner is Delafield American Legion Post 196 in Delafield. That's a mouthful. I wasn't anticipating that. If the Tavern Contact calls the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Brewers home game this year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. American Legion Post 196 in Delafield.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. That was my fault.
Sometimes, the fastball right down the middle, they're the toughest to handle.
I get ahead of myself once in a while.
One gone for Kendall. 0 for 1 tonight. He walked his first time up, then he popped up with the bases loaded in the third inning. Brewers got a run in the third, 4 in the fourth, and they lead Santana and the Mets 5-2. The Mets are beginning a very tough stretch on the road here. They have a series coming up with the Phillies next, but in between their series with the Brewers that ends tomorrow and the start of the Phillies series, they play a one-game makeup in Pittsburgh. Little bouncer right again. Another good play from the Gold Glover. And 2 up and 2 down. All right, Rock, our U.S. Cellular text to vote question of the week. We started it yesterday. We'll keep it going through Sunday. Should Manny Ramirez be allowed to play in minor league games during his 50-game suspension from the Dodgers? W for yes, X for no. And today, I want you to think about, replace the name Manny Ramirez with, a Prince Fielder. Not that that would ever happen to Prince Fielder. Like he would never be suspended, but should he be allowed to play in minor league games to prepare for his big league return?
It makes a difference if it's one of your guys, right?
That's kind of what I
think that's what you're getting at.
Because for me, the 50 games is 50 games, and that's just an arbitrary number that's out there. But if it's 50 games and you get 10 to come back, you don't want to punish the fans, Dodger fans,
and your own team any more than you already have.
So if it's 60 games and 10, don't get hung up on the 50, I guess is what I'm saying.
And I think most of the deterrent in that 50 games is the salary.
Yeah.
And he's still not getting paid.
So we'll keep that going all week. Hall back up the middle. Santana drops it, picks it up, makes a play, and a 1-2-3 inning for Johan Santana. On our way to the 6th. Is presented by the Wisconsin Lottery and its family of instant scratch games. Odds are you'll like them. By Airtran. Go. There's nothing stopping you. And by Aflac. We've got you under our wing. Chicken dance here at Miller Park. It's worked for some runs so far tonight. The Brewers with 5 runs on 7 hits. A couple of defensive miscues for the Mets led to the big 4-run inning in the 4th. An error by Santana. And meanwhile, Mike Burns, since surrendering the 2-run homer to David Wright in the 1st inning, has shut the Mets down. Matter of fact, he has faced just 1 over the minimum since the 1st. Tatis pops it up a mile high. And Billy Hall in fair territory makes a play for out number 1.
Hey fans, do you have a favorite player that works hard and has an aggressive approach to playing the game of baseball? Cast your vote for the Brewers We Energy's High Energy Player of the Year by going to Brewers.com/Player of the Year.
Mike Burns in AAA before his promotion went 3 consecutive starts, going 7 innings or more. So he's familiar with pitching deep into a ball game. Matter of fact, he's been stretched out as much as 116 pitches in starts this year. Right with a base hit, his second hit of the game.
Doing pretty much what he's done throughout his minor league career. Not many walks, not many strikeouts. Pitches to contact. He's only walked 1 and has 2 strikeouts tonight.
That hit for Wright, his 30th multi-hit game. That leads all National Leaguers, tied with Freddie Sanchez and Miguel Tejada. But he does it with nobody aboard. And with 1 out, here's Sheffield. Sheffield, a former Brewers prospect and infielder. Back in the day, in the early 90s. And a proud member of the exclusive 500 home run club. Sheffield's 500th home run came against the Brewers in April.
Man, it's amazing that the Tigers, who have struggled offensively this year, have just released him. Didn't want anything for him.
And still paying his sizable salary. One ball, 2 strikes. Burns looking for a ground ball here. Get him out of the inning. And there it is, a bouncer. McGee. Hardy, double play, nice scoop by Prince. 4-6-3 double play. Mike Burns rolling along here against Johan Santana and the Mets. 5-2 Brew Crew. Of the Mets, game 2 of this series. David Wright started it with a bang, a 2-run homer in the first inning. The third batter Mike Burns faced tonight, but the Brewers got a run on a Braun single in the third inning, and then Braun drove in 3 with a double on an 0-2 pitch from Santana. Ryan then scored on a throwing error from Santana. An unusual error for Johan Santana. There was also a misplay by Fernando Martinez in center field. And when it was all said and done, 4 runs were in. 5-2 Milwaukee. And Mike Burns leads off this 6th inning. Burns walked on 4 straight pitches in the 4th inning. That one's into left center. Sheffield, long way to go. Still on the run, and he's got it for the out. Mike Burns putting the bat on the baseball for the first out. Hey, I want to remind you about Fantasy Camp. Time to get your entries in. Fantasy Camp this year occurs from January 31st to February 7th. Just when it's freezing cold here, it is beautiful in Arizona. They have green grass in Arizona that time of the year as well. Round trip airfare from Milwaukee to Phoenix. You get your own jersey and personal instruction. And you can be involved in all of the ancillary activities that Bill Schroeder has put together,
including happy hour.
Hart drops a bunt down, a good one, right. Barehanded throw is wild. And Hart on his way to second. Corey Hart has been a factor at the top of the order tonight.
That'll be a base hit in air. A pretty good effort by David Wright. Corey Hart runs very well down the line, barehanded. Pick up and threw it all in the same motion. Boy, love to see Corey Hart drop down that bunt. Nothing wrong with that. He didn't give it away too soon. Tremendous play by David Wright. I don't think they would have had him even had the throw been on line. That'll be an error on David Wright and a base hit for Corey.
So Wright charged with the Mets' second error. I'm no first baseman, Rock. You played a little first base in the big leagues. It seemed like a footwork issue with Nick Evans.
Yeah, he didn't look very comfortable over at first base. There's no doubt. That started early.
It didn't look like a throw that should have gone to the screen.
Well, he's probably not used to the angle with which David Wright was throwing that baseball. I mean, a lot of times when a third baseman comes in that hard and he's throwing to first base, that ball's going to tail. It's going to be like a slice. You got to anticipate that as a first baseman.
Hart's in scoring position for Hardy.
I don't think Evans was real comfortable with going after the baseball and where Corey Hart was. Been a rough night so far for the defense.
2 errors and a costly misplay in center field when Martinez slipped and fell. Hart has been the benefactor twice. Hardy fouls it away. Ryan Stokes, who gave up the grand slam to Casey McGee last night, loosening, preparing to come in here in the 6th inning if Santana cannot get through it. The Brewers would love nothing more than to chase Santana right here and now. Pitch count is up there. He's over 100 pitches now. That's driven into right. Well hit ball. Back is Church, and he's got it, and Hart does not tag. Hart thought it was a hit for sure. And a base running miscue a little bit. There are 2 outs in the inning, but Hart probably should have been standing at third base.
Well, and he should have, because, you know, with Corey's speed, if he's standing very close to second base and the ball still is not caught, he's going to be able to score with his speed. Boy, what a nice stroke by J.J. Hardy. Well, he keeps that bat level through the strike zone, never finishes with that bat above his shoulder. Corey Hart realizes at that point that he made a mistake. Always better to be at third base with 2 outs than second base.
Now still in scoring position, and here's Braun, who has 3 hits tonight. Extended his hitting streak to 7 games. He's driven in 4 runs against Santana.
Boy, J.J. smoked that ball to the opposite field. You can't hit it any better than that. Man.
Just when you thought J.J. was going to be the benefactor of some breaks. Another line drive out. 2 outs. And the 0-1 to Braun. Chase 1. Change up from Santana. And now Braun has him right where he wants him. No balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, 0-2. Does he throw the changeup again?
And Omir Santos heading out to the mound. Well, how about the pitch by pitch from his last at bat, Brock?
That was all changeups. It was a 3-pitch at bat. Santana not willing to throw the fastball. Ryan just basically getting a piece of the changeup away, but here's the mistake. He got too much of the plate with it. And Ryan Braun with that big, long, heavy bat, able to drop the head on it, clear the bases, and ends up scoring himself.
Got him this time. Braun down on strikes. The inning is over. Brewers fail to score. 5-2 Milwaukee. Is presented by Triple Hop Brewed Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. And by Toyota, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Brewers and the Tundra Territory at Miller Park. Our Miller Lite, what's on tap? The Brewers of the Mets tomorrow afternoon. Giovanni Gallardo on the mound for the Brew Crew. I guess Mike Pelfrey, and then it's off to Wrigley for the first time this year. It's hard to believe, huh? Church drives one into left. Braun's got it. One pitch, one out, as Mike Burns continues to shut down the New York Mets.
That's the way it was last year, but in reverse. The Cubs didn't come to Miller Park until, what, July, right? After the All-Star break? Or right before?
I like it better this way. Those two trips in April to Wrigley Field weren't exactly under baseball conditions.
Miserable. But the Brewers played well.
Yes, they did.
They always seem to play well at Wrigley.
It'll be a 4-game series at Wrigley Field. The first game is a night game, and then the next 3 days during the afternoon as Evans goes down the line. Nick Evans with an extra base hit, a 1-out double in the 7th.
Well, anything that Ken Maka gets out of Burns beyond this inning is going to be a bonus. I mean, you got to figure against the Mets and Santana out there to have a 5-2 lead as you head into the 7th inning. You got to be pleased with what Burns has done today. A changeup down and in, and Evans able to stay back and get his double down the left field line. A very good start by Burns here tonight, coming off a pretty good start against the Twins.
Well, with Castro on his way to the mound, gives us a chance to check in with Telly.
Hey guys, we just want to remind you that the deadline is quickly approaching. You got to go visit Brewers.com and vote in your favorite brewer to get into this year's All-Star game. Now remember that deadline's coming up on Thursday, and you can vote up to 25 times online. You can do so once again by visiting Brewers.com. So want to remind you that because it's quickly approaching, guys.
All right, Telly, thanks a lot. Trying to get the Brewers to the Midsummer Classic in St. Louis on July 14th. So Castro has had his say. And Burns will face Fernando Martinez, young 20-year-old center fielder for the Mets. Mike Burns in 12 AAA starts went 7+ innings in 6 of them. So half of his starts he went 7 or more innings in Nashville.
Well, he's only got 90 pitches right now. It's a tremendous pitch count.
And this will probably be the batter that determines whether he stays in the game or not. Maka has stated that he likes to give his starting pitcher every chance to win. That means if that starting pitcher is down in the game, he'll let him pitch as long as he can to see if the offense can pick him up. Or in a spot like this, if he gets in trouble late, he'll surrender it to the bullpen. And two of the best Maka has to offer down there right now, Stetter the lefty and DeFelice the right hand.
Wouldn't be a Brewer game without Mitch Stetter getting loose. Boy, that guy can throw every day. Amazing.
Burns will be allowed to stay as long as he keeps the tying run in the on-deck circle. There's a curveball, just missed.
You would think the brother of a major league pitcher would have a bigger strike zone, wouldn't you? That ball outside, though.
Because if nothing else, he's got to deal with his brother about it. Although Jim Wolf is not allowed to call balls and strikes when his brother is on the mound.
Actually not allowed to umpire a game where his brother's involved, whether he's pitching or not.
Brother of Randy Wolf. The crew chief tonight is Gary Cederstrom at third base. Full count, 1 out. It's a big pitch for Burns. Got a runner at second, a 3-run Milwaukee lead. And he pops him up. Cameron with plenty of room. Evans is going to tag. Out number 2 is made, and Evans stops. So good job, Mike Burns. He gets the second out. And will face rookie catcher Omir Santos. Well, Ken Maka will waste no time here, so Burns is going to be lifted. Maka will make sure that Burns walks off this mound feeling very good about his start. Matter of fact, the fans come to their feet at Miller Park. Third innings, just 2 runs. Still a runner his responsibility as he turns it over to the bullpen to try to take it the rest of the way. Mark DeFelice will take over with 2 outs. And Omir Santos, the Mets catcher, at the plate. And right away, DeFelice gets ahead of him.
Well, last pitched on Sunday. Pitched an inning, gave up a run.
DeFelice struggled with a bout of bursitis on his elbow. Said he bumped it on a locker, and because he was pitching, it's on his pitching elbow, but it just kind of activated all of the ingredients in the elbow, and it's got swollen, and said it's okay now, but it does take him a little longer to get loose. Santos into center field. Cameron eases back, and that's the inning. A scoreless frame. Burns 6 2/3, just 2 earned tonight. Well done.
Is a starter.
Well, that's right, and he pitched very well. You know, after that first inning, it might have shown a little nerves, gave up the 2 runs on a 2-run homer. After that, walked the first batter of the game, settled down, and has used his pitches extremely well.
Yeah, these are the minor league numbers that he produces as a starter that Ken Mock and the Brewers are hoping they'd see on the major league level, and he's certainly in line for that. We'll roll along with our coverage. Dave, we're now getting ready for Brewers Live postgame coming up in just a bit. Our on-field instructional tonight, we're going to kind of look at the cheat sheet card, if you will, that the outfielders use, that Ed Cedar helps put together, and he's going to join us for that as well coming up after the ball game. Brian?
Okay, Craig and Davey, thanks a lot. And you look at the starters comparison, Santana and Burns, 2 30-year-old hurlers on opposite ends of the spectrum, but not tonight so far. Burns 6 2/3 with 2 earned runs allowed. And those 2 came on 1 swing of the bat. David Wright hit a 2-run homer in the first inning. The 3rd batter Burns faced, and he shut down the Mets.
Well, a tremendous job pounding the strike zone. Only walked 1 all night, and only allowing 5 base hits. Take that any day.
Craig's right, though. You look at Burns' AAA numbers and just kind of how he was trending in AAA. He only had 1 start in AAA that was fewer than 6 innings. And that's a guy who is consistently eating up innings and giving his club a chance to win a ball game.
Well, you can see why. I mean, the guy doesn't throw many pitches out of the strike zone. I mean, he pounds the strike zone with good quality strikes, and even at the major league level, that's going to get you wins most of the time. You don't walk batters. You don't help them out. It makes it very difficult.
French fielder launches one deep right field. There it goes. Fielder homers off Santana. And the Brewers take a 6-2 lead as Fielder belts his 20th of the season.
Oh, he nearly hit it over everything here at Miller Park. I think about 5 rows from the top, almost leaving this building. Santana knew it right away.
Powerball home run number 24 Prince. Unloads on one. And that will be the knockout punch for Johan Santana. Fielder is at 8 home runs this year off lefties. And hits one off the great Santana to chase him from the green. In the month of June, not only hitting for average, a big average, but hitting for power as well. Fielder with his 20th home run of the year, his 74th run batted in. That ties him with Albert Pujols for the National League lead.
I'll tell you one guy, Albert Pujols, having a pretty good month. He hit 2 today. He's got 30.
So a correction, Fielder is still second in the National League RBI race.
Albert with 2 home runs today. He's got 30. The Giants beating the Cardinals 6-3.
Santana, 9 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned. McGee, pulled down by Evans. Nick Evans makes a terrific play. Well, our Dollars for Dingers promotion still going on here. You can take advantage of one of the best deals of the season. Great savings on tickets. And during the 9-game stretch that ended on June 25th, the Brewers hit 12 home runs, which means $12 off the ticket price. A Loge outfield ticket, only $16 for the July 7th and July 8th games versus the Cardinals at Miller Park. And log on to the web at brewers.com/dingers for more information.
Yep, Giants losing, Cubs have lost. Pirates shut them out.
Pirates making all kind of trades the last couple of days, shutting out the Chicago Cubs. The Brewers can go up 2 games on the Cardinals with a win here tonight. Cubs are now 2 games under 500. They're 36-38. And if the Brewers win, they'll be 4.5 back. The Brewers are hoping their rough stretch has ended. Cameron breaks his bat. And Wright cuts it off. Gets his man for out number 2. June has not been a friendly month to the Brewers, as you see the numbers on Brian Stokes. Gave up the grand slam to McGee last night and inflated those numbers a great deal.
Hey, he's a hard throw. He gets it in the mid-90s. Had trouble with his curveball last night. That's why Casey McGee was able to center on one up in his zone with the bases loaded.
The Brew Crew in the month of June now 11-15.
And it was a combination of a lot of things. I mean, starting pitching kind of went south for a while, and offense very, very streaky.
Well, a win tonight for the Brewers, and it would be 4 wins in their last 5 games. And most importantly, when you talk to players, they talk about winning series. It would be back-to-back series victories against a couple of teams right in the middle of a playoff chase.
Hey, you like the sweeps. You like talking about them. You like putting yourself in a position for a sweep. But you're right. I mean, beating teams 2 out of 3 is all you can really strive to do. Of course, got to get greedy. You win this one today, then you think about getting a bit greedy tomorrow afternoon.
With Giovanni Gallardo on the mound for the Brewers and pitching in an afternoon game as Kendall lines one to left, a base hit. Well, Prince Fielder sent one into the far reaches of right field. I believe Telly Hughes has made his way there.
I have, and it was a long track up here, but I'm standing by with Colton. Colton brought his glove and caught it on the fly, right?
Yeah.
So did you think that when you were sitting up here, you would be able to catch a home run ball tonight?
Probably not.
Could you believe it when it was coming your way? What was your reaction?
To quickly find my glove and get it in my hand.
Before it drilled you, right?
Yeah.
Well, hey, the lucky fan tonight caught a Prince Fielder home run and a long way from home plate, guys.
Telly, whose T-shirt does he have on there? It's not a Prince Fielder T-shirt by chance, is it?
Check it out. A Prince Fielder T-shirt. How about that?
Huh? Awesome. There's always an exclamation point to the story.
That's right.
Colton, a man of few words.
It's amazing he didn't have his glove on when the ball was hit. That's pretty good concentration.
Yeah. Put the glove on, make the catch, and get a little TV time.
You're very optimistic to bring a glove out to that seat. And he was rewarded.
Have we seen the Mike Vasallo laser reading yet?
320.
That's right. How about 415? How's that? 452 feet.
I'm buying that. That's a good reading, Mike. Well done.
I think the pressure got to him a little bit. See, he always takes a drink when he knows we're talking about him.
I think Ken Spindler and John Steinmiller kind of influenced that.
Breaker 1-9, breaker 1-9. Mike Vasallo coming in. You got your ears on. Is that how he does that?
Yeah.
Billy Hall drives one to center. Right at Martinez. The inning ends, but Prince Fielder makes a fan happy. Matter of fact, makes 35,000 happy. Launches one deep right field. 452.
you should feel honored just because, they obviously like the way you play, and, it makes you feel good, too.
I think Prince Fielder has punched his ticket to the All-Star game with this huge month of June he's putting together. Fielder has stated he will participate in the Home Run Derby if placed on the team, so that'll be fun to watch. I wouldn't mind seeing Braun and Fielder in the Home Run Derby. A couple of teammates knocking them out of Busch Stadium.
It would be interesting.
Luis Castillo pinch hitting. Hardy a long way to go, but runs it down. Fielder putting together one of the best months of his career. These are the top months he has posted. And this month, he's hitting .363, Rock, with 8 home runs and 26 runs batted in. So the power numbers are there, but the batting average is off the charts for any month of his career at this point.
Well, we've talked about how consistent Prince has been all season long. It all starts with pitch selection. Doing a nice job laying off pitches out of the strike zone, drawing his walks, but to anticipate any player to have a month like the one Prince has put together is asking a lot. The only Brewer to have started every game so far this year. So he doesn't need any time off, which is good.
Todd Coffey gets loose. The Brewers are 5 outs away from winning consecutive games against the Mets.
Big home run by Prince Fielder in hopes that you don't have to use Trevor Hoffman tonight. Even though he only threw 1 pitch, you'd like to give him tonight off.
Cora yanks one down the right field line. Hart on the run, can't get it. And it bounces out of here for a ground rule double. So Alex Cora, a double down the right field line with 1 away.
A lot of extra base hits for this Mets ball club. 6 base hits. They've hit a home run. Let me count them. 3 doubles. DeFelice has a tough time with left-handed batters. That cut fastball ends up right where they like it, down and in. But the good news is it's nothing but righties for a while. Next 3.
And you got some guys who will chase a breaking ball as well. And DeFelice muddy pitches his cut fastball. He's tough on right-handed hitters.
Tuesday, July 7th is Time Warner Cable Customer Appreciation Night here at Miller Park as the Brewers take on the Cardinals. Find a buy one, get one free Terrace ticket voucher for that game with your most recent Time Warner Cable statement. That's good while supplies last.
Roof is closed on a cool summer night in Milwaukee. Temperatures in the mid-60s outside and a slight threat of rain, which is why the roof is closed up here tonight. 6-2 Brewers. And now DeFelice facing Tatis. Now this will be the key inning right here. You're going through the top of the Mets order now. Dealing with Tatis, then David Wright, the league's leading hitter, next, and then Sheffield. Wright has 2 hits, including the 2-run homer in the first inning, representing the only runs for the Mets tonight. One and 2 to Tatis, New York second baseman. Off the end of the bat, Cameron slips, recovers though, and makes a play for the out. The new outfield grass installed during the wintertime, and Cameron raving about its playability. Tonight, though, I don't know why, but maybe some extra humidity out there. But tonight, a couple of outfielders have slipped. One of those led to a double from Corey Hart.
Making a pitching change. This is going to be a double switch. That's kind of interesting, the way DeFelice has been throwing the baseball. Greg Counsell going to take over at second base, pushing Casey McGee, I would imagine, over to third, and looks like Todd Coffey's going to face David Wright.
So with 2 outs, Maka makes the move for Todd Coffey. DeFelice is out. We'll take a timeout. Always hits the ground running. I mean, we're not going to put it on Trevor Hoffman, Hell's Bells status, but it's got its own life.
Brewer fans love it. They really do.
So Coffey in the pitch, a double switch made here with Ken Maka. And Coffey will face David Wright with 2 outs and a runner at second base.
Well, pitched the third of an inning in last night's ball game against the Mets. Inherited 2 runners. One was able to score his 37th appearance, a terrific 2.63 earned run average. Has only allowed 1 home run. May very well be one of the reasons why Ken Maka went to him. Keep the ball in the ballpark.
Greg Counsell comes in to play second base. And McGee moves from second to third. Pitcher spot due to lead off in the bottom of the 8th. So put Counsell in that spot. And Coffey will go to work against David Wright. First pitch, strike. Good fastball in the corner. Wright took a fastball from Burns and hit it out to right center field way back in the first inning. And the only Mets run so far.
Kind of makes sense what Ken Maka did. I mean, you saw the location of that pitch up and away. That's what its cut fastball from DeFelice ends up, away. And what does Coffey do? Tries to pound him inside. There's always a reason for everything in this game. Managers don't sit in that dugout, flip a coin, and decide what they want to do. There's a reason behind it. Scouting reports, and he's right on top of it.
6-2, the Brewers lead it. Cora at second base, and Wright rolls over one foul. Question will be who pitches the 9th if the score stays the same. Wright is 0 for 3 lifetime against Coffey. That includes a strikeout. And Coffey has him down, a ball and 2 strikes. Close pitch.
Yeah, that's been a ball all night.
Maka's given himself the option to use Coffey. And hoping he doesn't have to use Trevor Hoffman. Hardy makes the play. That keeps the ball from the outfield and keeps the 4-run lead intact. David Wright with a base hit, his third of the game.
And they stayed right on that slider. That slider stayed in the middle part of the plate, right out in front just a bit, but nice play by J.J. Hardy. Not going to show up in the box score, but saved a run. Almost able to get it. And Alex Cora has to stay at third base.
So first and third for the Mets. And here's Gary Sheffield. Sheffield is 1 for 3. Takes a strike. 94-mile-an-hour fastball on the outside corner at the knees. Stetter in case Church comes up. He's the next hitter. Line drive caught by McGee. A broken bat liner by Sheffield, and Coffey is out of the inning. The Mets strand a pair, and the Brewers keep their 4-run lead intact. Ryan Braun has had a big night tonight. Drove in 4 runs on 3 hits against Johan Santana. And the big hit, a 3-run double in the 4th, part of that 4-run 4th inning for Milwaukee. Mike Burns making a bid for his first win as a major leaguer. 6 2/3, only 2 runs allowed. Fielder, an insurance run in the 7th. A 6-2 lead at that point as Fielder bolts a 452-foot home run. So Counsell leads off, bottom of the 8th inning, and the new pitcher is Green for the New York Mets. Sean Green appearing in his 36th game of the season.
Now the sidearm are having a tough time against left-handed batters. 15 strikeouts, or I should say 15 walks on his line so far this year. Very tough on right-handed hitters, but lefties see it pretty well.
Counsell hitting at .299, setting on an 11-game hit streak. A little bouncer out to first. Evans will take it to the bag. Counsell retired. Well, Mike Burns outpitched Johan Santana. Brewers putting up another double-digit hit game. Corey Hart has 3 of those 10 hits. And are at the plate, presented by Wendy's.
Yeah, so far 29 hits in the 2 games against the Mets. 29 hits and 16 runs.
It was a 10-6 win last night for the Brewers. Braden Looper winning. Trevor Hoffman earned the save. Nobody warming up at the bullpen right now. Looks like Maka is content to stick with Todd Coffey at least to start the 9th inning. Had the Mets scored a run or moved it into a save situation, then you would have seen Hoffman. He still might pitch. Maka would rather him not, though. Slow roller. And Green takes care of Hart for the 2nd out.
Yeah, who would have thought that Trevor would have had to pitch in last night's ball game? Brewers with a nice, comfortable lead. Didn't end up that way. Ended up being a save for Trevor. Only had to throw 1 pitch, though.
And so you're saying 1 pitch. What's wrong with Trevor? Why can't he pitch?
Still had to warm up.
Still had to get it cranked up. And Trevor goes through his entire process anyway. It starts about the 5th inning. Put it this way, when Trevor finally gets to the mound, that's the easy part. As far as
easy part of his day, right?
The physical workload.
Yeah.
Now the mental anguish when he's on the mound in a save situation, but he puts his body through some kind of rigorous activity prior to that appearance.
It's the only way you can pitch as long as Trevor's been able to pitch. Got to keep yourself in excellent physical condition. I don't think anybody does more to keep themselves in shape than Trevor Hoffman. You can see how tough that breaking pitch is from Green on right-handed hitters.
J.J. Hardy's been on twice tonight. He had a single and a walk. And a sharp line drive in the 6th inning. That was caught. Looked like extra bases. Hardy had a 4-hit game last night. Little bouncer out to Tatis. And the side retired. So here we go to the 9th. Last call for the Mets. The Brewers lead by 4. Well, let's update our U.S. Cellular text to vote question of the week. Should Manny be playing in the minors? Manny Ramirez we're talking about, not Manny Parra. 89% say no. Manny Ramirez is scheduled to return Friday to the major leagues. His 50-game suspension will have ended.
That's what you call a landslide so far.
Landslide.
Maybe they thought it was Manny Parra. Maybe they think he should be in the big leagues.
That's a good call. Maybe we should clarify that tomorrow. Remind me, would you? Well, here we go to the ninth. The Mets, their last at bat in regulation, 6-2. The Brewers have the lead. Ryan Church starts it for New York. And Todd Coffey hoping to finish it off. Tomorrow it's Gallardo for the Brewers. Milwaukee's ace on the mound at home in the daytime, which has been a lethal combination this year. Gallardo is 8-4 this season with a .286 earned run average. Among the league leaders in wins, earned run average. He's among the league leaders in opponents' batting average, and still leads the league in ERA in day games. Mike Pelfrey will pitch for the Mets tomorrow. Struggling right-hander who's 5-3.
Well, you'd love to have Yovani Gallardo on the mound, as you mentioned, in the daytime where he's made most of his starts so far this year. And if the Brewers able to close this one out, a sweep of the Mets.
2-2 the count to Church. And a base hit to center field. How about that piece of hitting?
Guy's got a rabbit's foot in his back pocket. How about that? Check swing.
And our Ho-Chunk Gaming text question tonight: what notes does an umpire write down after he tosses a coach? Jim Wolf tossing Dan Warden, the Mets pitching coach. Jeff in Janesville wants to know.
Well, they have to submit a report to Major League Baseball, the umpire's office, and describe what happened, what was said, what the situation was, and who he threw out.
Umpires hate doing that. That adds to their day.
Yeah.
Instead of a shower and a meal, it's sit down, type out. It's pretty extensive form as well.
Paperwork.
It has to be into the commissioner's office or the Major League Baseball office right away. Brian O'Nora will be behind the plate tomorrow. Two balls, no strikes on Nick Evans. Hoffman is lightly tossing in the Brewers bullpen.
Get a ground ball right here and end this ball game. Or get close to ending it.
A bouncer. J.J. Hardy will take it himself. Bill Schroeder with the crystal ball. 6-3 double play.
Yeah, you love to see that. That's why Todd Coffey's only given up one home run this year. At heavy sinker, gets a lot of ground ball outs. 2-1 pitch. You see the movement on that pitch going in on Evans, and he beats it into the ground. An easy double play by J.J. Hardy.
Mike Burns an out away from his first career Major League win. 6 2/3 innings tonight for Burns. He outpitched Santana. Brewers lead 6-2 on the strength of a 4-run fourth inning. And a couple of defensive miscues for the Mets in that inning. Martinez takes a strike. Hoffman has stopped throwing in the bullpen. Coffey trying to finish it off. There's a drive in a deep right center field. That one's way back there. And that's gone. Not over yet. Fernando Martinez with a home run. His first Major League homer comes at Miller Park. And it's 6-3 Brewers.
Well, he got that pitch middle in, and nice easy swing by Martinez, and just jumped off his bat and way back in right center. No, still not a save opportunity for Trevor Hoffman. One more guy gets on, it will be.
How big is that double play looking right now? Coffey reaches back for a little extra. It's one thing to pitch in the 6th, the 7th, the 8th. It's another to finish a game off. Brewers had trouble doing that last night when Villanueva surrendered 3 runs on 5 consecutive hits.
One more base run. You're going to see Trevor Hoffman in this ball game. Or at least at that point, it will be a save opportunity.
Tying run has to be in the on-deck circle. 3 balls, no strikes to Omir Santos. Problem you're dealing with, getting dangerously close to the top of the Mets order.
And just basically put it on a tee for Santos here. If he hits it out of the ballpark, tip your hat. You just don't want to walk him.
In there, 3-2 on the rookie catcher. Full count, 2 outs. Mets down to their last strike. And a bouncer over to third, McGee. Short hop, fielder digs it out, and that's your ball game. The Brewers win. And Mike Burns in the win column for the first time in his major league career. Ryan Braun, a big day today. Braun with 4 runs batted in on 3 hits. And Mike Burns of the Brewers outdo Johan Santana and the New York Mets. The Brewers win at 6-3. And Milwaukee 42-35 now for the season. Giants are leading the Cardinals